Now, it's time for Straight on the Point with your host from some undisclosed location, Jesse T.
Well. Hello, everybody. Good to be back into It's time for the Jesse T Show. We are back on the air. And everywhere from the community to the world, we're broadcasting from our undisclosed location today. Had to take care of a lot of real estate business out there in the world today. So I was out and about, hitting the streets with the miles, doing the smiles. We're on Instagram Live. Thanks a lot for checking in. Already people are starting to chime in. And we're on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. And we're on the Power of Voices at www.thepowerofvoices.com and the Power of Voices on YouTube Live. Also, we're on Periscope, and Periscope's happening right now as we're live on Periscope and live stream on this one over here. Yeah, man, I got cameras all around. This is like, you've heard of surround around sound? This is surround around cameras. I'm like IMAXing it right now everywhere. David Armstrong. Hey, what's happening, David? Good to have you along with us. Gwen Legge's there. Daniel O'Leary. I like that Irish name. I should sing the song Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy. Danny. Yes, I think I'll sing Danny Boy before I'm done in the show here. But we have a great show lined up for you today. It is Thursday in Southern California. And for that matter, all across this great nation, lots of cool stuff happening in the news. Of course, Donald Trump landed in Florida, and the Chinese leader and Donald Trump are talking. And I'm sure they're talking about North Korea. Don't worry about North Korea, guys. They can't reach us with missiles. And if they do, don't worry about it. China's not going to get involved. There's too much money involved. Way too much money involved. Neither is Russia. They want the money, baby. They don't want anything else. They want the gold and the silver and the oil. Hey, saying hi to everybody who's chiming in now and starting to get going here on Instagram Live. And you'll notice I have my trusty, very old 19th century magnifying glass, because I can't see anything on Instagram Live. They make the print so small, even with huge glasses, which I'm getting. I'm not going to be able to see them. You know what I mean? But let me see who's checking in with me. Oh, Lord, I feel like Mr. Magoo. Ew, yes, like Mr. Magoo, or like Sherlock Holmes, like Mr. Magoo right here. See, like that? Yeah. Right, Mr. Magoo's happening. Yeah, like that right there. Yeah, see, you can see my eyeball. I really have brown eyes. I don't have contacts. Anyway, saying hi on Instagram, saying hi to Sihing Herman. Hey, that's my Sihing. Herman Armijo. Armijo, there we go. Monaco French Restaurant, bonjour. And Tracy Ellman is checking in. Yes, yeah, okay, all right. Okay, yes. I use this when I can't see anything, and I have no shame. So, get used to it, right? Okay. So what else is happening here? Well, Gorsuch, of course. He'll be nominated as one of the next judges, and everybody's all up in arms about them changing the rules. Come on, people. They've been changing the rules all the time. Chuck Schumer changed the rules back in 2013, and he also changed the rules back during the Bush administration. They're always changing rules. The rules were changed about the federal judges and our Supreme Court judges back in the Nixon and back in JFK and the Kennedy. Robert Kennedy, they change the rules all the time. Hey, when you get involved in politics, you are accepting the responsibility of being a hypocrite, because that's what politics is. They're just a bunch of friggin' low-life hypocrites. You can't trust them for nothing, and you can't count on them for nothing, only for themselves. They're hypocrites. So politics and hypocrite, they're like synonymous. It's like the thesaurus, right? You go look up politics, you see hypocrite. You go look up hypocrite, you see professional politicians. So it's the same thing. So they've been changing rules all the time. Don't worry about that. It's nothing big. It's no big. It's just big and new because it's big and new in your lifetime, right? Unemployment went way, way, way down. So it's really going down. That means the interest rates are going up. When unemployment goes down, the interest rates go up. So if you're going to refi a house or anything like that, hey, get in contact with me, Jesse T. That's right, known as Jesse Mr. Soul Terrero. Been in the real estate business for 40 years as a broker, agent, and loan specialist. You can give us a call on our real estate line at 818-805-4400. Well, one of my favorite actors, comedians, stand-up guys of all time died today, Mr. Warmth. That's right. Don Rickles passed away on Thursday today at 90 years old. You know, I wrote a little something on my Facebook site at facebook.com/Jesse Terrero because, you know, I'm not 90 years old, but I'll tell you, I was raised with all of these guys. You know what I mean? I was raised with all these great entertainers, these great men and women who could sing and dance and they could tell jokes and they could play instruments like Sammy Davis Jr. I mean, unbelievable. Frank Sinatra. And they're all dying now. My youth in the entertainment business, the people that I was raised in watching, because my folks love those folks, they're all going away. And they're just simply, in my opinion, not being replaced by really anybody in terms of the magnitude of the types of careers that they had in those days. This is really the difference between today and the entertainers from yesteryear, is because those types of careers just aren't going to be around. The moments of superstardom last just but a little time, and most entertainers are never given the opportunity to reinvent themselves like Frank Sinatra did 5, 6, 7 times. Tony Bennett had to reinvent himself a couple of times. So, you know, we're never going to see these type of entertainers again. And yeah, you can catch him on Google. And I'm going to do a little something here with Don Rickles when he roasted then President Reagan. It is absolutely hilarious. And I'll play a little something else before that when he was roasting Martin Scorsese. But you just get a little taste of this man's talent. It's unbelievable. And I might play the little Frank Sinatra roast later on in the show because we got a lot to cover today. But a lot of topics, lots of conversations. But that type of entertainer is gone forever. Those type of venues that allow those types of entertainers to really proliferate and become great is gone too. So, you know, it's really a shame. And I invest in you. Do some historical stuff. If you're really into the entertainment business and you really enjoy it, really look back a little bit and see what the world used to be like in terms of just the pure, unadulterated talent. It's just unbelievable when you start realizing the talent of these individuals. So Don Rickles passed away today. Mr. Warmth, what a great career, 90 years old. Remember him in the Clint Eastwood movie, Kelly's Heroes? Did he just not play a great character? I loved him so much in that. Telly Savalas was in that too. And a couple other crazy wackos were in that as well. But this is Don Rickles. Right here, and I've got it up on the screen. Let me kind of get that up there. I'm going to play Don Rickles. Now, he's at the AFI Awards. That's what that is, AFI. And you can see, let me see if I can kind of bring this over on this camera a little bit and bring this one down. There we go. Okay, yeah, all right. You've got it right there, guys. I had to make a little adjustment on the Power of Voices camera. You can see AFI right here. And so this was a roast that he did at AFI of some of the great stars, and you'll recognize some of the stars. I'm going to play a little bit of this because it's like 30 minutes long, and then I'm going to cut from it into a couple of other Don Rickles things, just so you can get a little taste of the enormity of this man and his ability. It's just unbelievable, and he really lasted the test of time. He was working up to just a few months ago. He died of kidney failure early this morning here in Los Angeles. Okay, so let's play Don Rickles, everybody, on the Jesse T Show.
The pit boss of warmth, Don Rickles.
It is now 11 o'clock and I'm fed up and tired. Marty, I would address somebody get a phone book so you can see me. Marty, when we see all the films you did, none of them were great. None of them.
No, it's true. You know, Bob and I did like 8 pictures together. We would put everything we had into each, and we'd always be excited about doing the next one. Then we did Casino with Don 20 years ago. And we haven't worked together since.
All right, so
It's amazing. It's amazing, Don. The influence.
it's a little taste of that, but I'm going to play a couple of other things here because there are so many things to play. This was with Frank Sinatra when he came on to the Johnny Carson show one time, and Frank Sinatra was there, and Don Rickles did a little piece with Frankie. Let's see if I can find that one.
My hate.
Let's see if I can find that one. Don Rickles and Frank Sinatra. Okay. This is another interview with Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson was a great talk show host, so check it out. Here you go. Don Rickles with Johnny Carson. Hopefully there won't be a commercial.
You parents who have young children watching, they want to hustle the kids into bed now. My first guest, Rickles and I have known each other over 30 years. Don's going to be appearing at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas, April 9th through the 13th, and at Ballet's in Atlantic City, the 23rd and the 24th. Short date. Would you welcome Mr. Warmth, Don Rickles?
Okay, it's not a Jewish holiday. We can sit up. Okay, want to go to the beach?
Sure.
What a night. God, John, it's so good to see you. Usually you say good evening, but I guess tonight you're a little
Well, I was going to say
tight because you're working with a name. It's so good, and God bless it. I've heard so much. Let's hope this sticks.
Thank you, Don.
And I'm running out of gifts.
Thank you, Don.
Newhart and I, we keep running over going, does he love her? Does he love her? And usually you're back in the chapel going, what time's the wedding?
Did you know before he did this that he was
No, I read it in the paper in Iowa.
You've never been in Iowa in your life.
You can bet your... No, I've never been in Iowa, but I read about it. You usually call us and tell us. You don't tell him because he gets a breakdown. But you have been a guy that's traveled a lot and have gone through a great deal in life. And I wish you and your wife a lot of happiness. I figure a week, tops. Tops. You have no problem because you get moody and just walk away.
No, I don't.
Anyway, no, I saw your lovely wife, Alex, in Pittsburgh.
She told me you were back to
You see,
Europe.
you talk about marriage. There's a guy in your band. How long have you had that?
Well, I just started.
Get on the Jerry Lewis telephone.
Right. She said you were back. Let me get something.
Well, jump in. You're the host. You're acting so secure since you're leaving. For crying out loud. And the other guy's at home working on his chin. Look.
He's referencing Jay Leno, everybody. This was Johnny's last show.
My wife.
You like that, eh?
Yeah, I like
that. Little
that.
Nazi
That's right.
personality.
That's right. Cruelty is my second name.
That's it.
Alex told me you were back in Pittsburgh. She was back there because she was born there. Her folks live there. She goes back occasionally. Said you were back there filming a picture.
Yes, we
Wow.
did. We did a. What do you mean? Wow.
Was this
What is
good?
it? It's not a cartoon. It's a major movie.
Well, the last thing you made was Beach Blanket Bingo.
That's right. The last thing you did was sit in the Slate Brothers some years ago and go, give me anything, anybody.
Didn't have anything there.
That's right.
Okay.
We were all in heat in those days. By the way, Snooki's married 53 years. Snooki Young in your band, and that's why we can learn from that guy. 53 years married to this wonderful woman in your band, Snooki Young.
I didn't know that.
The coincidence is his lovely daughter, Judy, is our secretary. Did I stun you?
No.
I mean, she's a black girl. She don't sit in the house going, hallelujah, hallelujah. She works once in a while, does a spiritual to relax me.
All right, now speaking of marriage, you're kidding me. You kidding me about my...
Well, I always kid you. I'm married 27 years. Why do you keep opening your mouth like that? I think I'm working with a Norwegian guy on a tuna hunt, for crying out loud.
What, tuna hunt?
A tuna hunt.
Okay.
Yes, I'm married 27 years.
And everything's good at home?
Well,
All right, Don Rickles, everybody. Don Rickles died today, 90 years old. I could play so many terrific things about him. I just love him so much. He was so great. Let me play you one thing here when he roasted, when he was on set with Frank Sinatra. I found it. You'll like this one. And then we'll move on to the next topic here of the show. Okay, here we go. Don Rickles on the Johnny Carson show. He surprises Frank Sinatra. Here we go. Hopefully no commercial. There is a commercial.
Hi, I'm Steve Martin, and welcome to Masterclass. I was talking to some students, and they were saying things like, how do I get an agent? Where do I get my headshot? And I just thought, shouldn't the first thing you're thinking about is how do I be
love it.
good? I have a little bit of a pet peeve for comedians who come out and say, how are we doing tonight? You've blown one of the most important moments of your show. Say, I'm sorry, we're out of time. Sorry, we're out of time.
what?
We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about my specific process. Thank you. Performing comedy. Hey, move that over there. We're going to talk about.
All right, we're gonna do this one again here, and see if we can bring up Frank Sinatra here.
I grew up with you, listened to your music in high school and so forth. It just occurred to me, crazy thought this afternoon. When you're in a romantic mood, and you're trying to make out, whose records do you put on? I spent a lot of nice evenings listening to your music, and I just wonder who Frank listens to.
Oh, I play Jerry Fail or someone else?
Interesting concept.
Yes, it is. But I can answer that by telling you that in those lovely moments, I play Daphnis and Chloe, or the Sunken Cathedral, the Engulfed Cathedral, all that kind of classic jazz.
Don Rickles is about ready to come on right now. Watch what happens.
Hey, look, I know you're going to do another number with the band because I know you got a recording session tonight, and really, on behalf.
Hey, look,
Hello.
look,
Now that's it for me. Why don't you guys get with the band? Hey, Frank, it's good to see you. I just was hanging around in the hall, and they said Frank Sinatra's here. I've never met him, you know. And I get the
you'll
chill.
excuse us once you
Certainly.
Marco Mangananzo was hurt.
Marco Mangananzo.
From Binu Bombazzo. 2 bullets in the head Thursday. Now this you don't believe. Excuse us, Johnny. You're from the Midwest. You're busy going. Is the truck loaded? Guido says hi. He hasn't had a chance to talk to you. And from Jersey City, your good friend Ubani Umbatso.
What's
He
his name?
started his car. He started his car with your album on, and now he's a highway. But I tell you, I'm a Jew and you're an Italian, and here we have what? And this is a great Irishman. This is America.
Yes.
And that's why I just want to say, before we go any further, for 14 years, Johnny Carson kept saying, do you really know Frank? And I want you to know, Frank, I worship you and I love you. I really mean this, because since I'm a kid,
I used to blow in girls' ears, and here you was going, la-da-da-dee, do it my way. I need a girl so bad. I love my wife, but she's ill. But you just got married, Frank. I just can't picture him on the wedding night standing in the room going, and I suppose it's my way. And Barbara, his wife is going, Frank, when you get a minute. God bless you. He just got married. Hey, all the good things. This is the most exciting night in the years that I've known Johnny Carson. He started me on this show. This is the most exciting night, and I so help me. It's a great night. He was even nervous because he came to me and said, and I said, you are a powerhouse, and Frank, I love you.
Listen, can I tell a story about what this man did to me once? You may have heard about this. It was a true story. This is a long time ago, long before Don got married. I was eating dinner at a restaurant in New York, and I was sitting with some friends, and he came over to the table, and he said, Frank, do me a favor, will you? He said, I'm sitting with a very pretty girl, and I'm trying to make out, and he said, I told her I know you, and she really doesn't believe me. Would you stop by the table? I said, all right. I was just about finished. I was down to the espresso. And finally he went back, and I walked by the table, and I said, how are you, Don? Nice to see you. He said, can't you see I'm eating, Frank? What are you doing? I went to the whole thing. You walked in my mouth open.
I tell you, something, it's just wonderful when you see great talent like that. It is just unbelievable. Hey, Don Rickles died today, and God bless the Rickles family. His grandchildren and his daughter survive him, and his lovely wife, Don Rickles, one of my all-time favorites. On the Jesse T Show, just had to do that. ABTV Live, yours truly, the Brown Beauty, is on duty. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, love that. So many great stories. So we got lots of stuff to talk about today. Thanks for chiming in. Angela Capri's checking in. Jeff Langton. Jolton J is checking in. Also, Lisa Starchuk has checked in. She said it's really sad and it's funny, and he'll be sadly missed. Johnny Depp, though, she says, is really awesome. And I would agree with you on that. Johnny Depp is probably one of today's finest young actors, because when you start looking at the time and in terms of his age and how long he's been on the scene, certainly not as long as Don Rickles was before he passed away. But those kind of guys, there are some iconic people here. So let's kind of get back to what we were talking about. Hey, look, by the way, if you're looking to apply for a job, I always talk about jobs every now and then. McDonald's is hiring. But here's the interesting thing. A lot of the McDonald's across the country has gone into these kiosks. So they fired all those $15 an hour workers, especially here in California. Yeah, that's really good logic, right? I don't think they thought it out too well. But nevertheless, so McDonald's is hiring, but they won't take your application if you walk in. They want you to utilize Snapchat now. That's right. So the technology has come so far that forget about the one-on-one and the humanity in terms of hiring. They want you just to go on Snapchat. Well, talk about that. If we look at it kind of into what's going on here right now, Amazon right here is hiring too. And Amazon's a huge company. And I did a story about this a couple of months ago on the Jesse T Show. Some of these companies like Amazon and Google and the big ones like Microsoft and eBay and even Snapchat, if you have a degree in some sort of engineering or some sort of computer technology, just a degree, they will hire you out of college in a six-figure salary with hiring bonuses in the five figures and stock options. It's unbelievable what they're paying now, young students, millennials, and that really get this stuff. So guys, if you're retraining yourself right now, here's some hints from yours truly, Jesse T. Can't help but being me on the Jesse T Show on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, Instagram Live, The Power of Voices, ABEntertainmentLive.com, Periscope, live stream, Snapchat, and just about everywhere else around the world as we broadcast every day on there and everywhere from the community to the world. Some tips if you're looking to retool or kind of re-educate yourself, guys. You kind of maybe lost that job or something. You know what you got to do? Get involved in code writing, code transcribing, code, that kind of stuff is where the money is. We're talking six-figure hiring. We're talking bonuses of 5 figures to hire you. That's a signing bonus, like sports athletes. This is like the place where it's at. And here in Los Angeles, we have something called Silicon Bay. Up in California, we have something that's called Silicon Beach. And Silicon Beach, not Bay, Silicon Beach is over there by Marina Del Rey. In fact, it's not too far from the Power of Voices studio. Of course, we have to keep that secret location. Yes, because we don't want anybody coming there, and doing any kind of LA graffiti on us. You never know. But nevertheless, nice signing bonuses. So a couple things. Amazon's going to hire 5,000 jobs. Now, here's the key from this. They're going to hire 5,000 people in these jobs, right? And they're going to hire these people, and you are not going to have to go in to work. If you're looking for a new opportunity, you are in major luck. Amazon will hire you, and they do not want you to come into work. It's really that simple. They want you to turn your online shopping obsession into a job. Jobs are in the company's virtual customer service program, which allows employees to work from home as customer service agents. If your employees work 20 hours a week, they'll receive benefits, insurance, dental, vision insurance, fully and funded towards medical insurance. I mean, this is really cool stuff, guys. They can also take advantage of Amazon Career Choice, a program that will prepay 95% tuition of courses. Amazon also plans to create more than 25,000 part-time roles in its fulfillment centers across the United States, plus 100,000 full-time and full benefit jobs over the next 18 months. So Amazon is really looking to hire here. So I wanted to kind of give you the word on that because I think it's important that all of our great listeners and viewers make a lot of money. And then you come over to me at 818-805-4400. Yes, there is an ulterior motive to Jesse T. Hey, come on, we got to make some money together, right? I can buy a nice house and I'll set you up there. Saying hi to Dennis Jenkins, who has us on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Thanks a lot, Dennis, for checking in. And as we continue on, a couple of more things I thought. Well, they're here. Yes, they're here. The Martians have landed. Yes, the Martians have landed, and they are here. At least according to astronauts, some of our NASA astronauts believe that Martians, or actually aliens, have come here. Well, yes, there's about 20 million aliens that came across the border. But that has sure solved itself in the last couple of months of President Trump's presidency, hasn't it? It's down lower than it's been in 20 years. It's unbelievable. Just the thought of crossing the border illegally and getting thrown in jail and prosecuted for that and sent back home is making people stop coming here illegally. Now, hey, come here legal. Come here legal. I want you to come here legally. And I want you to get one of those Amazon jobs. I want to sell you a house. That's right. You see, it's that simple. But it stopped it dead cold. I can't wait till that wall is built. Why not? We got the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. Those are natural walls. And nobody comes over the North Pole into Canada. I don't think people want to really come that way, right? But astronauts say they believe in aliens. Really, NASA astronauts. And so I picked this up, and I wanted to talk about this because I've always thought that we have been visited and that they are living here among us. Remember that movie with that wrestler from the WWF, Roddy Piper? They live among us. He put on his special glasses and he would see the aliens. That was actually a pretty good movie for Roddy Piper. So check this out. You might think that I'm the only nutcase that thinks that that aliens are here. They are among us. And I'm talking about the extraterrestrial aliens. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the other type of aliens that might be here with us. And we're getting rid of those as fast as we can. So be it. But it turns out a lot of NASA astronauts also think extraterrestrials are real, and they have been in touch with humanity for a long time. Well, there's some papers that Eisenhower, you can go online, top secret papers that were released with the Freedom of Information Act, where Eisenhower says in these papers that they met 3 times. There's a lot of redacted information. At least 4 celebrated spacemen have become famous for their outspoken beliefs about existence of extraterrestrials on Earth. Some have seen UFOs soaring through the sky, while others claim to have been tipped off about alien contact by military top brass. Now we're talking about real guys here, guys. We're talking about the real deal. No, we're not talking about crazy conspiracy people on the internet. These are NASA scientists. Here are 4 NASA scientists who believe aliens are real. Edgar Mitchell, he was the 6th person to step on the moon on Apollo 14 in 1971. He spent the rest of his life convinced that aliens have been observing us and have been here for some time. What do you think about that? Do you think that aliens are here? I think I meet a lot of aliens. I think I meet people every day, and I say, man, I think she's an alien. Yes, I really do. He once claimed that peace-loving aliens had visited Earth on a mission to save humanity from nuclear war, and suggested the Vatican knows the truth about the existence of extraterrestrials. Mitchell also alleged that UFOs have been seen above nuke bases and often disabled the missiles held within Cold War-era weapons silos. Spacemen firmly believed the American government covered up the famous Roswell incident in 1947 when a flying disc allegedly crashed near a small town in New Mexico. Gordon Cooper, another astronaut, has believed in aliens. Woo, baby. I mean, we're talking, these are smart guys. These are real people. This is not the nutcases you get on Facebook, right? These are real people. Gordon Cooper was one of the original Project Mercury. This was by the way, John Glenn was laid to rest today as a national hero with military honors at Arlington National Cemetery. If you've never been to Arlington National Cemetery, guys, give yourself the opportunity and go there. It really is a special place. You talk about hallowed ground. You talk about what it means and the sacrifice to be an American, a red-blooded American. And you don't have to be somebody that was born here to be a red-blooded American, but you can't be these nutcase terrorists, psychopath, Islamic, Muslim, ding-dong jerks who want Sharia law in our country. Our Constitution is what's important. I mean, that's what they're arguing about here, trying to make Gorsuch our next Superior Court judge, which he's probably going to get now. Because they're going to go to a vote here after about 30 hours. But, Arlington National Cemetery, folks, is really a place to visit and spend time there. That was Robert E. Lee's house before the Civil War. Actually, it was his wife's house. Robert E. Lee was probably one of the world's finest military minds. Had Robert E. Lee been a Union general, the Civil War would have ended very, very quick. This is how masterful this man was. He was so masterful that he was able to coordinate the Confederate soldiers to fight as long as they did. That's how masterful he was. He didn't have the type of resources that the North had. He didn't have the type of money and the type of manufacturing ability that the North had. The South was rural and agriculture. And that's the lifestyle they didn't want to give up. And they didn't want to give up a lot of things. But nevertheless, Robert E. Lee was really a great general. His wife was wealthy, from a wealthy family, and Arlington was her home that she got from her family. And Robert E. Lee married well. Always remember, guys, marry well. Yes, don't marry bad. Marry well. If you're going to get married, you might as well find somebody that constitutes that's got something going on. That's the way I say it. I mean, that's what I've told my kids. If you're ever going to get married, marry somebody that, is somebody that has got some wealth. got some power, is got something going for him. Don't want to be marrying unwell. And I know that's not a word, but that's just a word I created to make a point. So he married very, very well. Well, of course, that's just across the Potomac, and Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, that was Union territory. So as the Union started crossing the Potomac, Robert E. Lee, they had to exit stage left and go into the deeper South and find refuge and create their government there. And after the war, what happened, the first that were buried there were Civil War combatants on the Union side, and they buried them there. And then what they did is they did it before the Civil War ended, so that they could make sure that it was turned into a funeral place, a funeral site, a cemetery, so that Robert E. Lee and his wife could never come back there, even if they wanted to, because who wants to live in a cemetery, right? Politics always. But nevertheless, our greatest are there. My son actually had the opportunity to lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. He was handpicked out of a bunch of California students to go there and lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. He crossed the threshold where the first guard is, and he was escorted down from the amphitheater where the president speaks. And usually only the president has the opportunity to cross that path they walk and actually lay a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. And my son had that opportunity. So Arlington is a beautiful place, and our greatest are buried there. So back to the story. Gordon Cooper was one of the 7 astronauts who took part in Project Mercury, the first American manned mission, which ran from 58 to 63, when I was 3 years old. The craft he piloted was dubbed Spam in a Can because it was automatically controlled rather than piloted by the astronauts on board. He believed that extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets, which are a little more technically advanced than we are on Earth, he told the UN in 1984. Dex Slayton, another guy, original Project Mercury astronaut, felt the same way. He had an illustrious career with NASA, and he also reported seeing UFOs in 51. It looked like a saucer sitting at a 45-degree angle, according to his recollection on that. He didn't have any cameras, otherwise he would have took a lot of shots of it. Brian O'Leary was a scientist astronaut in 67 for a potential manned mission to Mars. See, they were contemplating going to Mars in 67. I don't think they ever stopped after the Apollo missions. They continued to go to the moon. They just didn't tell us. And I believe they have deep underground military bases on the moon. I also believe they have colonies on Mars already. Because we're just starting to get released a whole bunch of stuff. Did you know that just this week, the Air Force designated a general in command of the space program? I'm talking about military space program. Yes, it's the Air Force Space Command. And now there's a general that was named for the first time, and they're creating a whole wing of Air Force Space, the Air Force Space Command, just to fight wars in space. Now, come on, guys. That just didn't drop out of a hat like a feather. That stuff has already been there, and it's already there. And they're just starting to release it to us because we'll accept it. We've been pretty much brainwashed and by all the movies now with extraterrestrials, and that's what that's about. So Brian O'Leary believed that we were visited, and we have people here on Earth. Dr. O'Leary, who became a respected physicist professor at Princeton University after leaving NASA and the space and astronaut program, there's an abundant evidence that we are being contacted. Civilizations have been monitoring us for a very long time, and that their appearance is bizarre from any type of traditional materialistic Western point of view. So, hey man, we are probably walking among them. I know in my lifetime, I've met some people, and I've said, man, they got some weird powers. I think that maybe they're from another planet. Did that ever happen to you? It's happened to me. So, Star Trek, of course, is coming out, and this is everything we know about the new Star Trek Discovery series. It's a brand new TV series, and since we were talking about the real life space, let's talk about the fantasy space, because I am a Trekkie. That's right, I am a Trekkie, always been a Trekkie. I'll show you some of my Trekkie stuff one day. It's really cool. In the midst of Hollywood's frantic race for franchises, Star Trek is having a massive resurgence now. This is everything that we know so far about Star Trek Discovery for those of you Trekkies out there who can't wait to get it on the CBS cable channel, CBS All Access. This is what we know. When they debut it, it's going to debut globally as a U.S. premiere. So that's kind of cool. We do know that. Alex Kurtzman will head up the new series. He's a terrific executive producer, handpicked by J.J. Abrams, who basically is the guy who inherited it from Gene Roddenberry. CBS series will introduce new characters. There's my favorite guy, James T. Kirk. Yes, of course, and William Shatner. New characters are going to be introduced, and the canon of Abrams-led films it's going to follow some of the canon, but they're going to create a whole new kind of series. This happens between the Star Trek, the one that was done with Bachelor a few years ago, and the original series. It's that time in between there is when this takes place. The lead character is not going to be a captain. The lead character is going to be the first officer for the first time ever. And it's going to have some veterans. Star Trek veteran is on board as a writer, so that's kind of cool. Can't wait to see that. Mike Cobb is going to be joining it. It wasn't allowed to air until at least 6 months after Star Trek Beyond, so now they can air the movie and get it going as soon as they can, because the film has already been released, and that's the last film that we saw. So May 2017, sometime next month, it's going to be released, and I can't wait to check it out. Let's see if we can get some of the cast members here, see what the story says here about some of the cast. Anyway, you want to check that out there on Star Trek Discovery. So it's kind of cool. I'm into Star Trek, always have been. It's got a really good moral story, and that's what I like. Okay, Governor, you know who this guy is? Guys, if you don't live in California, you know who this man is? This is Governor Jerry El Stupido Brown. El Stupido. El Stupido. Right. You know what he just said today? You want to have a screwed up state, that means California. If not, then vote to raise taxes. Can you imagine a governor saying that? We already pay so much tax in this state. It's unbelievable. In the final days before a decisive vote in the legislature here in California, Sweeping $52 billion tax plan for transportation. The sales pitch from Governor Brown, Governor El Stupido Brown. Governor El Stupido often strayed from the political realm. I'm going to my ranch in 2 years, Brown said. A nod to plans to retire in 2019. Good riddance. And you want to have a screwed up state with a bunch of potholes? Go ahead. But that's insane. That's his sales pitch, El Stupido. I loathe this guy. I really loathe this guy and California's assembly. They are horrible. Just horrible. They happen to be all Democrats in this state, very few Republicans. And the Democratic Party in this state is awful. They have destroyed this state. I mean, we're going down the path of Detroit. Have you ever been to Los Angeles lately? If you were, did you ever come to Los Angeles 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago? It is getting worse and worse and worse. And that's because it's run by Democrats. The liberal left-wing lunatics in this state like this guy, El Stupido. I got mine, screw you. That's basically what he's saying in his sales pitch. Can you imagine? He's going to raise our gas tax, our transportation tax, the DMV tax to support this bill. When they spent all this money on illegal aliens, and I'm not talking about the extraterrestrials, I'm talking about those ones that have come here to this country illegally, breaking our laws, federal law as well, and he spent it on sanctuary cities. And now they want to make this state a sanctuary state. The guy who's Nunez, who's leading that run in the assembly, his whole family came over here illegally. He happened to be born in America, but his whole family are criminals. And that guy's leading the lead for a sanctuary state. You know why? Because part of this bill that he wrote is that his whole family can become instant citizens. Go read the bill. Remember what I talked about politics and hypocrisy? These are the most hypocrites you'll ever meet. I swear, the only thing politicians are good for is when you need one, you got to know one. And that's about it. It's unbelievable, the whores they are, the absolute prostitutes that they are. And I'm not talking about the prostitutes of human trafficking because those are victims. These guys are not victims. These guys are horrible, horrible hypocrites. And there's so many of them in this state. Anyway, thanks a lot, El Stupido. Can't stand that guy. I really do have a beef with him. And so many politicians, let me tell you. Hey, Tillerson, steps are underway to remove Assad. You remember that one, right? Assad gassed his own people. Now, guys like Alex Jones right now are saying it's a false flag incident. Think about that. Maybe it was a setup. But Assad's an evil dictator. But, you know, if you oust Assad, who's going to replace him? You know who's going to replace him? The guys he's fighting. The bad guys. The ones that want to cut everybody's heads off. Yes, the Islamo-jihadist psychopath idiots. They're the ones that are going to replace him. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that happening in Syria? Please. I don't think knocking off Assad, I'm sorry to say, is the right thing to do. Who's going to replace him? Oh, great. We need some nutcase to replace him, right? At least that nutcase that's there now, he's keeping those idiots in check. Now, he shouldn't be gassing anybody. That's completely wrong. I mean, they got to do something about that. Maybe like destroy things that he has. Maybe whack some of his family. Something like that. But you can't replace this guy. There's a lot of challenge going on here. That part of the world, they only respond to hatred, death, power, killing. That's what they respond to. So think twice about who you replace. Billy D. Williams is 80 years old today. Happy birthday, Billy D. Always one of my favorite actors. I've always loved him. Always thought his career should be even bigger than what it was. But he certainly did a lot of great movies. Billy D. Williams, brothers. I'll tell you, I've always liked him. We talked a little bit about a couple of things. Here's something that I think is interesting. I don't know. Occasionally, once in a while, I'll talk about the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki were ancient Sumerians, and they found 14 tablets of Enki. I've got something on my Facebook site, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. A lot of the stuff in the book of Genesis and the Old Testament of the Torah, the Jewish Torah, and the King James Version of the Old Testament refer to the stories that were in these 14 tablets that were made tens and tens and tens and tens of thousands of years before the first word was put in the book of Genesis. So it's an interesting thought process. It stretches your mind a little bit. The Anunnaki, basically creatures, extraterrestrials that came from another planet to mine for gold because their planet was being destroyed because of the atmosphere in their sun. And they came here and they created Homo sapiens by doing DNA, genetic alteration. to make us slaves, and we rose and we beat them, and they destroyed the earth with nuclear weapons and floods. And Nibiru, their home planet, circumnavigates our solar system every 3,600 years and disrupts everything. So it's an interesting story. You might want to look at Stitchkin for that. A lot of people say the guy was a quack. I don't know. I just don't know. It seems to make better sense to me. They talk all about in the tablets, the Sumerian tablets, about Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, about all of the Garden of Eden. Talk all about that stuff. Noah, it's interesting. So check it out. That's on my site, facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. Hey, wanted to chat a little bit about things to do in LA. A lot of people always are asking me, man, you have an exciting life, you know? You get a chance to go out and do lots of crazy stuff. You must have the inside secret. Well, I do know lots of people in this town, and I get a lot of great interviews. We've got a terrific interview coming in here on Tuesday of next week and possibly Thursday. We might have the whole cast of the new web series, Trouble Creek. I can't wait for that. Hopefully everybody will come in. Crystal Lott and one of the directors, Shea Bray, and other cast members. We're trying to book that in for Thursday. It'll be a lot of fun at the studios of ABTV Live and the Power of Voices. And we've got a terrific actor coming in here on Tuesday, so we'll be chatting about that. Look for the promos and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of cool stuff to do. And with the internet now, of course, you can find a lot of cool things. These are 100 things you can do for free in Los Angeles, for free. Now, I like that statement, for free, because there ain't not much free today, right? Not much free at all. So I've got that up there on the site, too, as well. Here's some things. Grand performances downtown. They're free. Free music in the DTLH Grand Park all summer long. Paley Center for the Media, Beverly Hills, free concerts. Open Wednesday from Sunday from noon to 5 with guided tours of the center. El Segundo Museum of Art, it's free. Water Reclamation Plant tour. It's kind of cool to see that stuff, you know? You see it, and you hear it, and you read about it, but it's kind of cool how they reclaim dirty sewer water and make it water they can use on plants and stuff. Police Academy Rock Garden, it's kind of neat. That's right up there in Elysian Park. Look how beautiful Elysian Park looks. You don't realize that Elysian Park up there is actually really pretty. It really is. There's other things to do. Organ concerts at First Congressional Church of LA at Rampart Village. So there's a lot of cool things here. Go to my site at facebook.com/Jesse Terrero for some good freebies for you. The Camera Obscure Art Lab in Santa Monica. Sign up for arts and crafts. It's free. South Coast Botanic Garden in Palos Verdes. If you've never been to Palos Verdes, it's absolutely beautiful. Look at this beautiful house in Palos Verdes, and these botanical gardens where they're looked at. If you're into that, what a really tranquil and beautiful place to visit. It's really cool. So there's some good things. A winery for you winos out there, San Antonio Winery Tour. You can get yourself, you know, a little schnockered. Air Force Flight Test Museum, that's a lot of fun to go check out. Forest Lawn Museum is fun because they got a lot of neat exhibits in there. And it goes on. Bob's Big Boy Car Show every Friday night in Burbank. It's just, look at this one here. This is kind of cool. Concert at Levitt Pavilion in Pasadena. That's a beautiful place if you've never been there. So free concerts all night long, all summer long. So, hey, check it out. Just a lot of cool free things to go to here. On Jesse T site right here at facebook.com/Jesse Terrero. I post up a lot of stuff. You might want to check it out. Hey, there's the great actor Scott Butler kicking my butt with a nice left hook to the chin. Yeah, man, that hurt. Glad I got that straight. All right, some other cool stuff here to look into on the site. Let's see, this one here. This star right here, you can see it a little bit, guys. This star right here, this star is the biggest star in the universe. It's 1,700 times larger than our sun. Man, I'm just filled full of facts today, aren't I? Hey, why not? We're moving to the weekend, and it's Thursday in Southern California, so we got to get some good info in you for some of that late night cocktail trivia, right? So you can seem like you're really smart. And up on things. Yeah, that's a ticket. Seem like you're really smart. Yeah. That's right. Hey, just remember who helped you out. The Brown Beauty's on duty, of course. Jesse Torero in the house here on the Jesse T Show every Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. All right, let's check out a couple other things here. I think I got a couple of seconds left, a couple minutes left to talk about some stuff which I think is very cool. This guy wanted to take a picture with me once, and they wanted me to take a picture with him. That's the pornos are Ron Jeremy. I refuse to ever take a picture with this guy. There was no way in my creation that I was ever going to be in a photo with this guy. And the decadence of that, I don't know. Some people, some people really dig that stuff. I've never been one to really dig that stuff, especially that guy. He's an interesting character, but I just popped it up there, so I thought I'd talk about it. I would have rather hung out with Don Rickles. Now that's a guy. Never had the chance to meet him. Looks like President Clinton's up to his old slick Willy Billy stuff. He was pictured with this girl at an event recently, and she then got arrested for a prostitution bust. Do I have to say anything more? No, I don't think so. Oh, Lord. I just don't know. Just don't know sometimes. She's going to get in a lot of trouble, and I hope she does. She's a bad girl. My goodness. Okay, good to have you along with me. It's the Jesse T Show. That's right, every Monday through Friday, right there, the Jesse T Show, live in person. The Brown Beauty here, Jesse Torero. My goodness gracious, we come to the end. It's so fast. Right here, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6. Thanks a lot for joining. Please pass it on. Share it out. We need to make this audience bigger, and, I cannot do it without you folks. So pass it down, chime it out, hit it up, spread the word. Jesse T's on the air and everywhere from the community to the world. That's right. On thepowerofvoices.com and on the AVTV Live Digital Broadcasting TV Network and Facebook.com/Jesse Torero, Instagram Live, Livestream, Periscope, and everybody else. This is Jesse Torero. You just sat in the world according to Torero, and now you're straight on the point. The Brown Beauty is off duty. Bam. See ya.